Hello, everybody. So my name is Kendra.
And I am Faith.
And today we are going to talk to you guys about biblical singlehood. So we know that there are so many misconceptions about being single. And sometimes we get negative feedback saying,
right.
We feel alone, something must be wrong with us, or we're unhappy, we're miserable.
I'm not.
I'm not either. Okay, there was a time when I was, but I'm not either. But we just want to, deny some of the lies of what singlehood really is. We just want to talk about how much of a gift it really is to be single, as well as married. But since we're single, let's just jump into that and see. Yes. Wow, God, we're in a great place. We're in a great season, and today we're just gonna go through this thing and just talk about it. Okay?
Okay, then.
All right. So, you want to go, or you want me to read it?
Oh, the summit verse we know is Galatians 5:1, which says, "It is for freedom that Christ has set us free. Stand firm then, and do not let yourselves be burdened again by the yoke of slavery." The King James Version says, "Do not be entangled again in the yoke of bondage."
All right, so we like Paul because Paul was single, one of the people of the Bible who were single, and he had a lot to say about married and unmarried people. So we went to 1 Corinthians 7, verses 32 through 34, and it says, "But I want you to be free from concern. One who is unmarried is concerned about the things of the Lord, how he may please the Lord. But one who is married is concerned about the things of the world, how he may please his wife, and his interests are divided."
Split, child.
So I think for me, that's saying that when you're single, you got time to, completely hone in on what God has for you to do. You ain't distracted by a husband or a family or anything else. And we just want you to know that it's a gift. Like, you ain't got to be stressed out, honey, because it's good.
It's a good thing.
So let's talk about contentment and value of being single. So as a single, I am one who really desire, to have a husband and have the children.
She does.
She don't. So we got the best of both worlds, right? And unfortunately, I have been victim of actually feeling some of the misconceptions that we've talked about, right? Mm-hmm. And if I be honest, I kind of was in a place where I really idolized marriage. Not purposely, but the desire to be married kind of consumed me. Because one, I thought marriage was the gift. But it is a gift. However, so is singlehood. So in 1 Corinthians 7:7, Paul says, "I wish that all of you were as I am, but each of you has your own gift from God. One has this gift and another has that." The gift that he's talking about is singlehood. And then 1 Corinthians 7:34 through 35 says, "There's a difference between a wife and a virgin. The unmarried woman cares about the things of the Lord, that she may be holy both in the body and in spirit. But she who is married cares about the things of the world, how she may please her husband. And this I say for your own profit, not that I may put a leash on you, but for what is proper, and that you may serve the Lord without distraction." So to me, Paul is saying, when you're single, you don't really have a lot of distractions when it comes to your relationship with the Lord. This is the time to maximize the most. Get to understand who you are. Get to understand who you are in God, your purpose in life.
And know that there is a time and a season for everything. According to Ecclesiastes 3:1, it says there's a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. So if you are the person who is desiring marriage at this time, while you seek God for your heart's desires, don't rush the season of freedom to get to the next. Rather, embrace this time and be present in the moment, because God has given us this time for a reason. So pray and ask what God would will for your life for this time, whether it be you moving into your purpose, your passions, your ministry, service, having more time for your family, for travel, for business, education. There's a lot that you can do with this time other than sitting and soaking in singleness. So make sure that you are seeking God. The Bible says in Matthew 6:6, "Seek ye first his kingdom and all his righteousness, and all these other things will be added to you." So know that for this time, God has chosen for you to be single. Stand firm and be confident that this is the time for this. I know it doesn't feel like that sometimes, because although right now in this current season, I would be okay if God says no to a husband. But there was a time where I wanted that, and where I kind of grieved the fact when I noticed that my feelings on the subject were changing, I was like, but wait, what happened to that dream that I used to have? And I had to realize that God has changed my desires. And for this time, I'm supposed to be utilizing my freedom to get in tune with what God has for my life.
That's good.
All right. So the next thing we want to talk about is boundaries and becoming more self-aware. As a single person, now we use this time to seek God concerning His desires for us, enjoy the freedom, and to focus on pleasing God and understanding His will.
So I strongly believe that singlehood is a time for you to become self-aware. Mm-hmm. This means understand your purpose, understand how you're wired, understand your likes, your dislikes, what you can and can't handle, your weaknesses, your strong suits, what motivates you, your triggers.
Right.
Those are good. You need to know what your triggers are. And just it's the time for you to just do the work to become your best self. Because the last thing you want to do is get into a relationship and then you have to unpack all of that stuff because you don't know who you are. On top of trying to figure out who your significant other is.
Right.
So you don't want to get into that and then try to navigate that. You should do that before. And then if it's an easy way to lose yourself. If you're not aware of yourself, you'll get into a relationship and then you lose yourself, which yields a lack of boundaries. If you don't know yourself, you don't know what boundaries you need to protect yourself. You don't know what you can handle. You don't know that I might need to get off the phone at this time, or I might need to, stay away from these type of people. And this is not even just for relationships as far as a man and a woman. This is friendships, all types of relationships. You got to know what you can handle as a person.
All right, so the next thing as a single person you want to focus on is building a community around you, because we are not meant to be and live this life alone. Right. Kendra's one of the people in my community, and I love her so much. But I have been blessed to be in several communities and have people around me, and the community lends itself to accountability also, which I strongly believe is important. One way to keep those boundaries that we talked about and become even more aware of yourself is within the context of interpersonal relationships. Mm-hmm. And that community engagement is so important. Hebrews 10:23-25 says, "Let us hold unswervingly to the hope we profess, for he who promised is faithful. And let us consider how we may spur one another on towards love and good deeds, not giving up meeting together as some are in the habit of doing, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day approaching." And I truly like the parts where it says spur one another on towards love and good deeds, and encouraging each other. And that's what I have personally found to be one of the biggest benefits of community, is having people around you who can push you towards, once you've established what your goals are and what you want to do in this season, what you're struggling with, they can encourage you and push you towards those good deeds and just encourage you in this season. I know the season can seem lonely, and especially if you're a more introverted person, I would encourage you to step outside of what may be normal for you and get together with a few other women. They don't have to be in the same seasons necessarily, because I think you should have someone that can pour into you, people you're on the same level with, and then also those that you can pour into so that you're getting a range of perspectives and people to hold you accountable. Ecclesiastes 4:9-10 says, "Two are better than one, because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up, but pity anyone who falls and has no one to help them." So, ladies, please get you some community. Get people around you that care about you, that share the same values. Even people who are different, so that you just have exposure. It teaches you about yourself. It teaches you how to deal with others, which is something you're going to need if you desire marriage. You need to know how to deal with conflict, how to move through different seasons in life, people's ups and downs. So honesty in those community groups is so important, and that's what lends to accountability. Mm-hmm. Someone being able to hold you accountable to what you said your boundaries are. Yeah. So some of us are dating, some of us are moving throughout life, and you need that group of people that can hold you up. So as we wrap up, when you're thinking of biblical singlehood, our 3 points were contentment, learn contentment in this season, and to make sure you're knowing and standing on the truth that your value is not associated with your marital status. You're valuable as a single woman, and when you get married, you will be valuable as a married woman. No matter what season you are, you have value.
And also, don't forget, become self-aware. Know who you are. Create those boundaries. Because if you don't know who you are, how you gonna create your boundaries? I know I flipped that, but I mean it's true though. Hey.
And build a community of people around you to help hold you accountable and to walk with you through life so that you don't feel alone and that you can learn how to navigate. It's also another season for self-awareness. When you're with people and in interpersonal relationships, you grow. You naturally flourish. So,
all in all, guys, let's just change our perspective of what it means to be single. Let's live it up. Like, we have the freedom to do what God wants us to do. And then at the end of the day, they tell me, when you're working, that's probably when you run into your man. So if you are desiring to be a wife and a mother and all that stuff, start getting busy, because usually your destinies will collide. That's how it works. So
we want to challenge you to do 2 things. The first of which, if you are not content in your current season of singleness, pray and ask God to show you how to be content. I promise you, I've asked this prayer before in different areas of life, and He has shown me, He's proven that He can show me and answer that prayer, how to be content in this. And the second thing is to pray and ask God if there's anything you should be doing in this season that you're not doing yet. When He answers, just go ahead and do it. We challenge you to press forward into the purpose that God has for you in this season.
All right. Bye, y'all. Bye.